Welcome to the monthly masterclass. If this is your first monthly masterclass, this is the opportunity for me to spend time with you guys who are clients. We've got all of our clients that are in here that are in any type of coaching package. So maybe you're a deluxe or premium level client with us. Maybe you came in through a show special or a webinar, and so I included the coaching and consulting as a bonus. Maybe you're in the inner circle, and so you're just in the monthly coaching class. But it doesn't matter. I love you guys all the same, and I'm super excited because this is my time to really pour in to our client base. Back in the day, I could hop into this one-on-one Zoom calls with everybody. It wasn't a problem, but now helping, thousands of small business owners, I just don't have the time to work with everybody one-on-one. And so the group coaching call is what this is all about. In the coaching call every month, I try to bring you guys my insights. I feel like it's very much my job to stay on the leading edge, the cutting edge of what is happening and what's changing. I know we've got some small business owners in here that, they're just getting started with social media. Maybe they're just figuring out how to market. Some of you guys are masters and whizzes and you're making great content. Some of you all come here just to get my insights around what's changing with AI because that stuff moves at the speed of light right now. And so I try to bring you guys some insights on that as well as some mindset stuff, and then save some time at the very end to handle any questions. You will notice that this is not a webinar setup. This is a meeting setup. So everybody is here in the meeting. Everybody has the ability to kind of unmute themselves and talk. And so I do that for a very specific reason so that we can have more interaction and more dialogue. So just want to honor you guys and say thank you all for being here today. There's a lot of stuff that you guys could do and be working on. And so I appreciate you letting me pour into you for about 50 minutes here. So cool, guys. Well, let's get started on this. First thing up, I wanted to share with you is we had a client this week that had somebody leave a negative comment on one of their ads, one of their posts that was running as an ad. They deleted it and then they came in and like left a mean comment, and it really got to the client. And I wanted to take a moment just to talk about mindset for success, not only just in sales, but also in business, and the understanding that a big piece of this is overcoming the fear of rejection. If you think back the first couple times you maybe sold something in your business, you were probably nervous, right? You were probably scared, and you were maybe shaking a little bit. And I can remember those days, right? I remember the very first business I started was my senior year of high school. It was my lawn and landscape business, and there was a Dodge dealership in town. And I remember walking into this Dodge dealership, and I'm 18 years old. Okay, like I'm a senior in high school, and I walk into this Dodge dealership, and I asked if the general managers there. They're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So I get the general manager and I say, "Hey, sir, I'm just starting a lawn care business. I'd like to offer to give you a quote to mow your yard out front." And he like looks out the window and he sees my truck and he sees the lawnmower in the back of it. It's a push mower. He goes, "Where's your trailer and equipment?" Well, I'm just getting started. I don't have trailer equipment, right? I just got a push mower. He's like, "That's like a half an acre out there, right?" I said, "Yes, sir. It's okay." And the guy gave me a shot, right? And he said, "Okay, you're crazy, but go ahead, let's do it." And I can remember like I'm out there push mowing, sweating my ass off, and like friends driving by and honking, making fun of me when I see them at school and whatnot. But I didn't let the fear of rejection stop me from going in and getting that very first commercial account, right? And so while you may be past that when it comes to sales, you may be past that when it comes to coaching and mentoring your team. I would tell you that a lot of you all still aren't past that when it comes to making content and putting yourself out there on social media. And so and I've got the chat pulled up as well. So if you guys want to let me know and talk to me in the chat, happy to talk to you guys or answer any questions as we go. But I just want to encourage you, like, understand that you're going to get haters. One of my favorite sayings from one of my very first sales coaches is that you'll never see a dog bark at a parked car, right? And so if you're moving, if you're grooving, you're putting yourself out there, you are going to have people leave comments, react to posts. And I just want to encourage you to don't succumb to that fear, and develop that high performance mindset, and understand that with anything in life, consistency is what gets results. And so double tap, go right back in on that, go back to making the content, go back to making the videos, and putting yourself out there. Again, a lot of you all are like, hey man, I don't want to mess with this. You guys opt into our higher packages where we handle it for you. Totally get that. You don't have to mess with it. But for those of you that are trying to make content and build a personal brand, which I think is super important, it's how I built this business. It's how I built all my businesses, and it's how a lot of people will build businesses the remaining part of this decade. It's okay to put yourself out there, and you're going to get the haters, and that's okay. Also, I want to talk to you guys about time and energy management. I think that's super important. It's very easy to get distracted if you're using these platforms, but I will tell you that you can't just delete them and not mess with them, right? You need to have some self-control, some discipline on how to use these platforms in an efficient way. And if you open the platform up, create content, create content, create content. Lastly, is a little bit around leadership and influence, and just having the emotional intelligence to be a thought leader in your community, in your local area. If you've got a small business and you want to build a brand locally, uh, it's okay to put your opinions out there. I just had David Peterson on the Sales Factory we recorded this week. Got some new episodes dropping. If you guys haven't checked that out, go to coachcarroll.com/podcast. I'll drop that in the chat for you guys if you want to put that in your earbuds. We've got some really cool guests that have been on there, and it's okay to be who you are, be authentic. And so, like, if you have opinions, you want to stick flags in the ground, that's okay. I'll tell you guys, I just had a post that went kind of bananas that I had made this past week. I went to Grok. If you guys don't know who Grok is, that is the AI platform on Twitter or X. And Grok has actually just had a recent update. If you guys didn't know about this, Grok 3 just dropped, and it's pretty powerful. These AI platforms, I would say there's probably four that are in the running. So if you're taking notes, Grok is Twitter or XAI's AI platform. So that's the first one. And the second one is Llama, which is Meta's AI platform. And then obviously we have OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, which I got some pretty cool stuff to share with you guys on that side of things. And then Gemini, which is kind of tied into Google. And so, like, if you go into Google Docs or Slides or Gmail, you'll see Gemini up there in the top. And so I was playing around with Grok. Their creative is really cool. So I said, hey, Elon's got all this stuff about Doge, whether you like it or not, I don't care. I know that that is very buzzy, right? It's trending. And so I wanted to make a piece of content about that. And so I basically took Grok. I was on Twitter, I was on X. I took Grok, I told it, I said, hey, make me a picture of the Federal Reserve and put it on fire, right? Or I'm sorry, it wasn't the Federal Reserve, it was the Treasury. I said, make a picture of the Treasury and light it on fire. And so it gave me that graphic. And then I went to Twitter in the search and I typed in waste, fraud, and abuse, right? And so I found this guy that like had this big post that was written out about all these different things, and it was very colorful language. But I was like, hey, that sounds kind of cool, and so I copied it and I pasted it. And so you guys can see here, it's this post right here, right? No, backwards. So it's all about like all this stuff that is U.S. Treasury payments and Medicare and the Pentagon and all this kind of stuff, and about how nobody voted for this, yada yada yada. This thing has had 3,300 shares. Okay, let's be clear. I didn't make the graphic. AI did. I didn't write the post. I found somebody's post on Twitter and I swiped it and I copied and pasted it. I filtered it. It was a little too colorful language for me to put. Like my mom and my grandma follow me, so like I don't mind a couple little f bombs slipping out, but like it was like every other line. And so I kind of filtered that a little bit, and then threw that up there. 414 engagements, 225 comments, 3,300 shares. Now I know some of you guys are like, I would never post anything like that. I don't want anything to do with politics. That's fine. That's okay if that's your brand, right? What I'm always doing is I don't really care if it's about the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, like whatever is trending, whatever is getting the eyeballs, whatever is getting the click throughs. That is the content that I want to piggyback on the backside of, right? Um, here's an example, and you guys, I know a lot of you all in here, you come here because you want me to give you ideas, and so I'll give you guys these. Here's an example one, right? You could take the exact same thing. You take the Treasury on fire. You could go make a couple little blurbs about like all the stuff they've uncovered of the spending, whether they have or haven't, doesn't really matter. It's social media. We're just trying to get the attention, right? If you guys remember about my webinars, it's all about the attention. And you could talk about all this waste, fraud, and abuse, right? And it's like you could also say like if you feel like you're experiencing waste, fraud, and abuse with your current insurance carrier, please reach out to my team and let's see if we can save you a little bit of money, right? So what you can do is you can create something that grabs their attention, right? Oh my gosh, the treasury's on fire. Oh, here's all this stuff that I'm trying to find somebody. Derek Spencer makes a post. It's like all this different stuff that's the treasury. They found this much money and this much money in Social Security and this much. And then at the end, you make that hook, right? Because here's what I did with the attention. I go back and I leave a comment on my own post. And the whole premise of this post was like, in quotes, nobody voted for Elon and Doge. And, it's like, the hell I didn't, blah, 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 blah. Well, then with all these shares and stuff, I said, wow, over 50 shares. I guess this is what you all voted for too, eh? Laugh out loud. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel while you're here, right? So it's about grabbing the attention, but then once you have that attention, what are you doing with it, right? And so, this one I was like forcing people to go over, and I've picked up probably 25 subscribers on my YouTube channel this week from it, right? So cost me nothing. That was an organic post, putting the content out there, being authentic, not being afraid of I mean, listen, there's, 100 comments. There's 25 people in there telling me how terrible of a person I am for making this post. One guy was like, I hope you lose your business, right? It's like, it's okay, man. It's the internet. If you're going to play in this space, you got to have thick skin. But that also just comes with anything in life, right? At any point in life, you're going to have some thick skin. And so I wanted to share that with you. That was pretty cool. A nice little use case of how I used Grok to generate that graphic. And it's super easy. If you guys have Twitter or X, when you open it up, I can show you guys real quick. So like just down here at the bottom, let me pull my screen back up so you guys can see this. At the very bottom here, it's just got Grok as one of the buttons. Oh, it's hard to do backwards. But Grok is one of the buttons there at the bottom. And so when you tap on that, it pulls it into just a prompt where it's like, ask me anything. You type at the bottom and you can say, create an image of whatever, right? We're working on some integrations right now. I'm actually flying out to San Francisco next week, out to the Bay Area, to Silicon Valley to meet with our development team. You guys are all on Alley. If you're in this call, you're one of our clients, so you're in Alley. We actually are working on trying to get Allie to the point where she can help you guys write content in real time inside the app. So pretty excited about that. Some features coming down the pipeline so that you could say, hey, Allie, I'm posting a picture of myself standing on a bridge. What's a social media post I can make? She'll help you write that out. So again, we're trying to continue to build our platform to give you guys tools and resources that you can use so that you're making the most of it. I do want to touch on one other thing before I hop into the AI and kind of give you guys some updates. I had a meeting with one of our clients today, and for a couple of months now, we've been telling them to use the ringless voicemail tool, and they were having troubles with it, or they weren't executing on it. Really, is probably the easiest way to put it. But I want to like encourage you guys, even though it's not social media, it is probably one of the most powerful tools that we give you guys to leverage. And so the ringless voicemail, it's in your app. If you go to your Alley app and you click on the quick links, it's in the quick links there. I think you have to click like the see more that's another thing we're working on. It's like make that scrollable, but like you should be able to see more and go to ringless voicemails. You guys can export leads, customers, things like the contacts, phone numbers that you have in your database. You can export those out, record a voicemail, and drop it in. And it's only 10 cents per ringless voicemail. So if you have a small team, right, and you have a hard time like phoning all the leads, or if you guys are, if you just have a lot of leads, right? The client I was talking to this morning, they're spending $15,000 a month last year to buy leads to try to hit a certain level in their business. If you guys have those leads, man, it's a great tool. I still use it in Easy Pro, my exterior cleaning company that I own. Once a month, we take our entire database, anybody that hadn't done business with us in the last 12 months, so like I filter it to say, hey, last invoice date is older than 12 months ago. You guys can filter however you want in your systems, but it's like, give me a whole list of phone numbers. And then I record a voicemail on my phone. Hey, it's DJ. with Easy Pro, just reminding you it's time to get your house clean. You need exterior cleaning. Give us a call. Here's the phone number, right? You guys can do the same thing. Hey, pull a list of all the people that you did a quote for last year that you didn't close. Drop them in a ringless voicemail. You can make one phone call that says, "Hey, it's DJ, your local Allstate agent. Last year, you had us run you a quote. There's been a lot of things that have changed in our business, a lot of rate changes, and just wanted to see if I could update that quote for you. Give me a call back here at the office. If I'm busy, one of my team members can take care of you, right?" And so what that does is that allows you to just, right, 400, 500, 600, 700. Now, we don't recommend sending more than about 500 at a time. We typically see like a callback rate into the office of about 10%. I had I've told this story before, but it's one of my favorite stories. I had a agent, Chuck Wynn. He was the number 2 agent in Indiana Farm Bureau. He's like, "That's pretty cool technology, DJ. I think I'll give it a try." I said, "Okay." He said, "I got 750 customers." I said, Chuck, I don't know that I would do that many at once." He's like, "It'll be fine." I'm like, "I don't know, man. That's a lot of ringless voicemails dropping at one time. It'll be okay." So he drops them. I come into his office a couple weeks later, and I'm like, "Hey, Chuck, how'd that ringless voicemail go?" He goes, "Well," he kind of laughs. And the girl out in the office, she goes, "We were going to stab him in the neck with a pencil." So they had a 10% callback rate. They had 75 phone calls into their office in 1 hour. And so like their team was just crazy answering the phone, answer phone, answer the phone, right? But the reason why I say this is like you can spend a couple $100 to generate phone activity, inbound phone activity in your office from data that you guys are already sitting on, right? I think sometimes we get so caught up with like, let's go get new customers, let's go get new customers, let's go get new customers, that we forget about the customers that we already have in our database, right? Whether those be prospects or customers. And so wanted to encourage you guys on that. Super cool tool, and I think you guys could really utilize that to get some benefits. All right, changing gears here. I want to give you guys an update on OpenAI's new tool that I think you guys should be playing around with. Let me know in the chat real quick, how many of you guys are like actively using AI right now? Like how many of you guys OpenAI just released their numbers. They said that last month they had 400 million active weekly users. So like once a week, 400 million, which is like more people in the United States. So I was kind of crazy. That was kind of crazy with those numbers, but shout out to Wintrust for the Stanley. They had me speak to the Farmers Mega agents out in Phoenix last year. So give me a little prize pack. All right, let's hop in the chat here. Let's see. Dewan I was late to get on the call. Can you say a little? Ringless voicemail. Ringless voicemail. RVM. Let me just show you guys real quick. I had to log out of my business account and into my customer facing account. Let me do it this way. Because most of you guys will probably want to do it from desktop. Share. Okay, so this is like my customer account that I have loaded up, right? So this will look exactly like your guys's customer account. And so over here on the quick links, if you click view all, there's a ringless voicemail right here. And so it's super simple. You click on that, it bumps you out to our ringless voicemail page. If you need some ideas, there's a video down here. I talked to Andy about maybe moving this to the top. Check this video out. These are kind of like 3 simple plays, if you will, that I wrote for how you guys can use this technology. And then if you just click on ringless voicemail, super easy, right? Name, email, phone number. You can copy and paste. We were doing uploads, but then it was like taking too long. So it's like you can copy and paste it straight out of your CRM, or copy and paste it. You can export a list and then copy and paste them in there. Schedule out the time, choose the audio recording. It's got to be a WAV, MP3, or MP4. If you just record it on your phone, or if you have an audio recorder on your desktop, you can just record it on your desktop and then just upload it there. And then you go to checkout, you pay for it, and it schedules it and sends it. So pretty powerful stuff, the ringless voicemail app. So, all right, let's see here. Excuse me. So I asked you guys who uses, all right, Shan says every day. Joe Armstrong. What's up, Joe Armstrong? We're doing a ton of stuff with Joe Armstrong. She's been fun to work with. She uses Gamma, ChatGPT, etc. Cool, she's using it. Dewan says they do all the time for inspiration. Amy says yes. That's a great idea, right? And that's why we're trying to build. We're trying to build Alley. We already have the bot built. We're just trying to work on getting the connection inside of there. All the time, Paige says. Awesome. Paige is with Charlie's office, Charlie Pelt's office. Good to see you in here, Paige. Mike says not often enough. Mike says a few times a week, a couple times a month, not at all, just learning. You even pronounce my name right, K1. Yeah. Hey, I've had some names in here where I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna butcher this out the beginning, but we're good. If I remember, you're the guy that fell asleep in the webinar. No, that was funny. You're a good sport about it, man. So cool. So you guys are using this, which is really really cool. I want to tell you guys about this new feature that just came out with ChatGPT. It is an assistant basically, and so let me put this in here. It is an operator agent, and so I will put this in the chat. Get you guys the exact link. This thing is wild. I just dropped that in the chat link there. So basically, ChatGPT just dropped this not too long ago. It's been between our two calls, and that's why like these calls used to get. It's so funny like how this has evolved over time. These calls used to just be like sales training. I'd be like, I'm Coach Carroll. I'm gonna teach you how to sell more shit, right? And so, and I still love sales. I love to help you guys with that if you have objections or if you're a team member that's on the call, happy to help you with that. But what it has evolved into though is really more marketing and AI stuff because I just love this stuff, man. And so this new operator that they've come up with allows you to open a window, and it's somewhat free. And what do I mean by that? Up until this point, like if you tell, ChatGPT to go out on the web and do something, it's like I can't. I don't have access to that, right? With this new tool, it has the ability. The example they use is like you can tell it to go book you a hotel room, in Dubai for next Thursday through next Friday, right? And like it will open up a browser and it will go and do it. So I was kind of playing around with it today, and I was like, interesting. I wonder if I can get on social media with it. And so I actually got on social media with it and like had it go and I was testing it, and essentially it can read, it can write, it has all the permissions as if you were basically using a computer. And so I'm going to be playing around with this. I just started messing with it today. But I think this is a very 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 powerful tool. By next month I'll have some more use cases for you guys. But this thing, think about like if you were in a spreadsheet or something like that, like a Google sheet, and you were stuck on like how to figure out a formula. Boom, there it is, right? Say you've got a bunch of team members, right? And you have lots of complex data, like, maybe call times sorted by day, right? You'll be able to share your screen now with this thing, and it'll be able to like go through and use the data and come up with formulas. And again, like some people are like, holy shit, that's kind of scary. Yes, it is. But at the same time, I think it's super powerful, and I think this artificial intelligence is really just going to enhance the small business owner, man. I think social media was a huge lift for small business owners. I think that they were able to do things that they haven't been able to do in the past, right? Like you guys have heard me talk about traditional marketing, right? Like traditional marketing was too expensive. You couldn't run TV ads, radio ads, billboard ads, at scale, but like you can get in front of lots of people with social media. And so it gives the power back to small business owner. I think AI is going to do the exact same thing. And we've used it a ton. I shared this, I think, in one of the classes last year, but our operations team picked up a 65% efficiency increase quarter over quarter from Q2 to Q3 with some of the internal processes that we built out using some AI tools. And so I'm super bullish on this. I think it's really cool. Would love to hear back from you guys. In the new guidebooks, I'm going to go ahead and do this as well. If you guys want to save this, I'll put my cell phone number in here. Um, you know, One of the things, I will be truly transparent if it's account related stuff like, hey DJ, I need to change out my headshot, or hey DJ, I need to update my credit card. Don't text me for that because I'm not going to be able to help you. I'm gonna divert you back to the team, and it's what I pay them a lot of money for. But if you have ideas, if you have use cases, if you want to run an idea by me, um, you know, please reach out to me. Shoot me a text message. Don't call me. I never answer my phone. This thing fucking stays on silent. I would never get anything done. It was funny. We were getting ready for our second baby coming in June, and we were doing some painting in the house, and I had a podcast playing, so I like had the like volume on my phone turned all the way up. I was like working with my dad, and my phone was just like every couple minutes, it was like beep, bong, zzz, bop, bop, right? It's like all these notifications. I was like, damn, son, what's wrong with your phone? I'm like, that's notifications, man, from all the stuff that's going on, right? And so, like, that's why it stays on silent. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I see all the congrats that's coming into the chat. Thank you so much. We're super excited. Little baby boy coming in June. And so, I'm doing the super, patriarchally correct thing. He'll be Ever Douglas Carroll the third, so I'm a junior, so he'll be the third. I told my wife we should call him E3 because I'm like, man, if he plays sports, like E3 with another tackle or E3 from downtown, like it just sounds super cool, right? It's like CP3, but we're just gonna call him Ever. So the wife went out on that. But if you guys, I want to hear from you all. There's my cell phone number. The new guidebooks. That was another thing I wanted to share with you guys. If you haven't looked, you should have gotten a chat from the Ally account. So inside of the Ally app, there is like Ally has her own account. That is where we kind of mass talk to you guys from. And like, if you notice, we try to get away from email because a lot of you all shared with us that like your inboxes are clogged up. So you should have the most up to date. We just released the new social media guidebook. So you'll have that digitally. And inside of there, my phone number is at the bottom as well. And this is kind of like you don't typically see this. Like CEOs, like I don't want, don't bother me. But I think that it's cool because we're so efficient. And because like I understand that the clients that I work with are successful agents and successful clients, and so they value their time. I don't have to worry about you guys like dragging on conversations with me and wasting my time, and I don't waste your time. So if you ever have breakthroughs, if you have ideas, if there's things that you guys are using in your business or new cool little breakthroughs, you're like DJ, what do you think about this AI thing? I would love to hear from you guys. One of the things I miss most, like we've had a scale, we got 3 people on the accounts team now as we continue to grow this business is like I don't get as much one-on-one time with all of you guys, and so I want to make sure that I have that availability. So feel free to shoot me a text. Full transparency, give me a day or so to respond to you. I'm super busy as we continue to build out our platform. But the AI tools that are coming from OpenAI, I would definitely keep an eye on. I don't know if you guys saw Elon try to buy like the nonprofit arm for like $97 billion or something. Like, where the fuck are you even going to get that money from? But they turned it down. I just think that we've got to keep as business owners. It's 1998 again, right? And some of you guys, I graduated high school in '07, so like I don't necessarily remember 1998 like from in the business world, but like I remember Y2K and I remember everybody like freaking out, like make sure your computer's turned off, like when the new year clicks over, so it doesn't like zap your computer, right? Like, and there were a lot of people like, this internet thing's a fad, right? And for years, even after 2000, like people like were slow to adopt. I'm telling you right now that if you will go all in and lean in on AI, and this just isn't me like coaching you to like for sales and marketing for all your stuff in your business, any way that there's opportunities for you to use AI, get in there, play around with it. It's basically like a chat bot essentially, and so there's nothing really to be afraid of. Get in there, talk to it, and figure out how you can use it. And then the other thing, I want to give you guys this. I think I said this last month, but it's important enough that I reiterate. To me, there are 3 ways to prompt an AI system. Okay, so the first one is like you give it just a directive, right? Like hey, I want you to do this. It does it and gives you that output, right? Input calculates output. That's like the lowest level, right? Like, give me a recipe for dinner tonight, right? Help me make a social media post. Like, that's like the lowest level. The second level to it is analyzing. So this is giving it large information, spreadsheets, PDFs, things like that, for it to analyze. Like I have one of the prompts I have in ChatGPT is the CMC Marketing Genius, and it is trained on our website. It's got hours and hours of transcripts of calls that are uploaded. It has lots of my YouTube videos that are uploaded. And I recently, this new 70, I think the page, that's like 72 pages, 74 pages, our new guidebook, the boot camp, I took it and uploaded it. I'm like, hey, here's a boot camp book. Analyze it and store it in your memory. And so it's like, cool, got it, right? And so now when I prompt it, it has all of this memory. And so feeding the artificial intelligence with information for it to analyze or for it to store to get at a later time, I think that's like the second level. And then the third level, the highest level, is telling it what you want it to do, like what you're trying to accomplish, and then telling it to ask you questions, right? And so I'll give you an example. I'm working on an M&A deal right now, and I said, hey, I need to write this letter of intent. What do you need to know from me in order to write the best LOI possible, right? So instead of me going in and kind of giving it like half-assed information, bits and pieces, and saying, write me an LOI, I'm going to like the third level and I'm saying, like, here's all the details I got. I want to write an LOI. What additional questions do you have for me? And it spit out like 20 more questions. It was like some of it's shit I didn't even think about, right? So you guys can use that, right? And so, like, I would encourage you to really do that higher level piece of that, of like, let it ask you questions so that you guys can get feedback and you can get better information from it. It's just like anything, bad data in, bad data out, right? And so, like, we want to make sure that we're using these prompts, we're using these systems to the best of our ability. So, pretty cool stuff. I want to share with you guys on that, on the OpenAI front. You're gonna drink. Any questions on any of that before I go on to my next little piece here? I'll give you guys a second in the chat if there's any questions. And I apologize. I was sick last week, so I'm just trying to get over this funk that I got going around. Cool. I don't see any questions in there, so we will move forward. All right. So let me go back over here to my notes. And okay. Guidebook, we talked about that. That's in Alley, so you guys have that in your account. If you run across any questions or you see anything in the guidebook, it's just updated to reflect Alley a little more in detail than what the original guidebook was doing. So we've got that in there. We'll check here. Masterclass, perfect. So the other thing too is, like, understand that AI. So these notes I've got here, AI is not going to replace anybody. It's just going to enhance what you can do in your business, right? And so I think that's something also that's super important. Uh, so the next one I want to talk to you about. How many of you guys? Let me know in here. What do you use for email? Do you use Outlook or Gmail? Like, what is the email client that you guys are using? Okay, that's what I thought. So everybody uses Outlook. Cool. Um, so Gemini is not going to help you much there. That's inside of email. But the other piece that I want you guys to think of is, like, and I've told you guys this before, but again, some of these things I repeat because they're super important. It's a 10-80-10 rule, right? Let AI do 10% of the heavy lifting. Or I'm sorry, you give it 10% on the front side, which is the prompt. Let it do 80% of the heavy lifting, and then you guys can, use the 10% on the back side to help you out. But what I think is going to be super powerful as this thing continues to grow and develop is how you guys take some of the daily tasks that you have and replace them. So, for instance, this may not be able, from like a compliance standpoint, for the people in here that are in the financial services, but, like, if you guys are in calls with any of my team members, they should have their Fathom in the room. You'll see this like Fathom that sits in there. The reason why we do that is because that Fathom listens to the call and then it creates an automated like summary, and so after each call, I get a notification, and then I can come in within a couple of minutes. I can kind of skim over quickly about what the call is and what, if there was anything that I need to follow up with a team member or whatnot, I can see it within seconds. The old school way was like listening to calls. Maybe you listen to them on like 1.5 speed, but like, you're having to listen to these calls. And it's crazy. So Shannon says she uses Plod for meetings, webinars, so probably similar tool that's out there. And you're starting to see this, guys. Some of these people are like, I saw something the other day. It was like a $400 a month product to like, grade and scale coaching calls or whatnot. And not knocking the hustle, but you guys can take, the scripts. If you guys have recorded phone calls, you can feed those into a chat GPT or something similar and, say, hey, rate this call or grade this call. And for a $20 a month subscription, chat GPT is pretty cheap. And so, Shannon, I'm guessing that's probably, can you unmute yourself and give us some insights on that? What's that Claude that you're talking about? Is that what you're using it for?
So it's literally the size of a credit card, and it can be used to record like phone calls on your cell phone or just meetings in general. It works through Chat GPT, and it will record it, and then you can say, this was a webinar, this was a training. Depending on what type of meeting, it will then take and transcribe the entire meeting, and then it will summarize everything into like kind of like cliff notes, and then give you a mind map as well. And
Nice. So it's hardware then, right? So like this is like a physical thing that you've got?
yes, I think I got it on say found a, I think it was Amazon Prime Day or whatever.
Hmm.
And I want to say I got it for like $120. They're normally like 150. It wasn't a big savings, but it is a game changer because it's so hard to take notes sometimes and also know what's going on or like not miss something. And so this allows me to not miss anything.
Yeah, I love that. That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's one of the coolest things about doing these group coaching classes like this is like getting to learn from each other, and kind of building this community that we're building, which is really, really cool. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I tell my team like let Fathom take the in-depth notes, and then like I still have a like pen and paper so that like I like to have like I want to write down like takeaways or if there's something that's like super important, right? If I'm meeting with a client, like yeah, I'm spending 10,000 on this or 5,000 on this, and I know I'm gonna have to recall it within the meeting. I'll take notes for that. But the days of like taking notes on everything, man, if you can use a tool like you were talking about there, or put something in Zoom room with you, super super powerful, and it's time saving too, right? Like this is the other thing, guys. Is like it's not replacing us; it's replacing tasks, right? Like it's not replacing us as human beings. It's replacing some of these like minuscule tasks like note taking, right? Scribe, take note. It's like it's replacing some of those things that are just lower value. And I really think that's just going to allow us to continue to elevate. There's a really cool book. I can't remember the title of it right now. I want to. It may have been he quoted another book, so I'm going to butcher this, but he basically said something to the extent that the factory of the future will have one dog and one man, and the dog will be there to make sure that the man doesn't touch anything. And basically, because it's like these tools, these robots they're going to automate so much stuff for us, but the beautiful thing about it is, man, is that, human beings and having the ability to communicate, the ability to connect, that will forever, I truly believe, be our X factor. And so that's why I think, it's probably more important than ever for you guys to be working with your team on like communication skills, active listening, how they present themselves, how they communicate with your customers. It's going to become even more important as more and more AI takes over. I also think that that's where the social media piece comes in as well, is being able to connect with people on social. Now, and you guys have heard me talk about where we're working on developing this Ally tool to where she can engage with your followers on social media, and and I think that That's coming. We got a couple little pushbacks, but I think that it's still coming down the pipeline. It's going to be a little later than we thought, but I think having the power to connect and talk to people is still super important. So like understanding storytelling and how to have a good hook and how to present a good offer and how to ask for the business. You know, that's like one thing I could give you guys right now, and I've consulted with dozens and dozens and dozens of small businesses that have sales teams is the number one thing that I see, which is the biggest mistake, is like they just don't ask for the business, right? They don't ask for the close for whatever reason, right? Either they think they're going to be too salesy, they think they think the customer's not going to receive it well. But I love the saying that timid salespeople have skinny kids, right? And so you have to ask for the sale, you have to put it out there. And I think that's coaching that you guys should take back to your teams and make sure that they understand. And that's where these calls always go by so fast. I'm always like, man, what am I going to talk about for 50 minutes? But we're already at almost three quarters after. Is there any questions? I want to make sure I've got like tons of notes here. I was using ChatGPT to brainstorm beforehand because I've like it's got all of my slides and it knows all of my content that I've got. I've got several different things that I've trained in here. Were there any questions that anybody like kind of brought to the class today that you're like, hey, I want to make sure that I ask Coach about this? Is there anybody that has anything that you guys want to discuss in particular as we kind of get to the end of the class here? And you can either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourselves as well. That's why we do these in a meeting instead of a Zoom room or not a Zoom room, a webinar. Anybody want to share a big win or anything that they've accomplished or are proud of that they want to share with the class? Perfect. Got two people coming here. Joe, go ahead. You can unmute yourself, Joe, if you want to share.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yep.
So I haven't talked to you about the numbers, DJ, but I have with Amanda and Nick. So before I met you, I was a new agent. I closed about 575,000 in new business in 2023. We
Okay.
closed 1.1 million in 2024. And I track our sales, and I will tell you it was an upward of 200,000 in sales for social media. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. But I do have a question. So this is more around the virtual assistant. I see a lot
Okay.
of ads asking, would you like to use a virtual assistant? And of course, there's only one of me.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't do everything.
hmm
But do you recommend using a virtual assistant? And if so, how would I utilize that assistant in my agency?
Yeah. So, if you're talking about like a VA, like an offshore VA, is that what you're talking
Yes,
about?
yes.
Yeah. So here's what I've found. One, you get what you pay for, right? And so like if you think that you're going to find a $3 an hour person that's going to be a rock star, probably not. Two, it's still somebody that you have to manage and you have to train up, right? There's going to be an onboarding process. And anybody that I've ever seen, it doesn't matter if they hire like an in-house executive assistant that's like in their office or a team member, anybody, right? You still have to onboard them. I still think you have to, it takes time to get them up to speed. I have a VA. If you guys email me, you see Christine's in my inbox. She's in St. Lucia, and so on purpose, I hired somebody that had hospitality background, and so her emails, the way she communicates, I do a lot of traveling, and so she books all my travel. She's very familiar with all of that. There was an instant. This is kind of funny. There was an instance last year where like we had an event booked, and then something came up and got canceled and like they were going to try to charge me for the hotel because it was so late, and she knew that like apparently you could just change the date, push it out, and then cancel it. You don't have to pay the cancellation fee. So my point there is like I have a VA, a virtual assistant, and she does a great job, but it took time to train her to get her there. And so yes, do I think that if you're a boss, if you're an entrepreneur, should you have a VA? Absolutely, you should have a virtual assistant, an EA, an executive assistant, whether they're virtual or in person. Dan Martell has a great book called Buy Back Your Time. And in there, he kind of has some operating systems to
Yeah.
use, and we follow those. And so, like Christine, I have inside of my inbox, I have a DJ folder and I have a review folder. And so, what I will do is like she scans my inbox all day long, right, and filtering stuff. She'll mark anything that I need to review. And then what I do is I come in and a lot of times I'm using like I've got the new iPhone, so like the voice to text is so good. I'll hit the reply button. I'll do voice to text to give her directive, and it's like very choppy. And then I'll save that as a draft, and then she comes in the next day or later and can like actually type out a full, nice professional email. So there are tools. She manages my calendar as well. So in the overarching theme, Joe, yes, I think all successful business owners should have an executive assistant since you've got somebody to delegate those lower dollar tasks to. Um,
Do you know of a DJ? Do you know of an AI tool? Because I see something in chat. Remote labs didn't work for me, but do you know an AI tool that I could use?
yeah, so an AI, I would not buy into an AI virtual assistant at this point.
Okay.
I think a lot of that is hype. I think a lot of that is oversold hype on something that, could probably be done in ChatGPT. I also think that these right here, the phone companies, they're going to catch up to these guys before any of these platforms make it mainstream. I mean, like I can use Apple and tell it to open up, send an email, or send a text message, right? And so like it's a lot of that's already in here. I would.
Apple,
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
Apple is working with ChatGPT right now to
Yep.
integrate together.
It's
Um,
already it's already there. You can turn it if you have the newest iPhone with the new iOS. You can turn it on in your Apple, and so like you can say Ask Chat GPT da 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 da, and it'll like literally prompt right inside of there. It's pretty crazy. Um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So
I
so
just
Joe,
have the app because I don't
yeah,
have the newest one, but I mean, I use it daily and like I said, I heard that they were integrating pretty heavily.
yep, yeah. It's they're I mean it'll be fully integrated I would say within the next 12 months if on the new iPhone. But as people go through this update cycle, I think that's what's going to push the updates. But yeah, Joe, to you, I guess I didn't catch that AI part on the front side, so I'm not super bullish on that yet. Just because here's why:
Okay.
the
Okay.
whole point of that is to buy you back time, right? I
Right.
think it's going to take you more time to like try to figure that out and deal with it and like the problems that you're going to have out of it versus like just find you a rock star assistant. I had one of my business buddies tell me, Christine's in St. Lucia. She doesn't make a ton of money. She's like $16 an hour, and they're like, "What? You pay a full-time person to be your assistant? That's a waste of money." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Do you know the like mental capacity that I have knowing that
Right.
I don't have to check my
You're right.
email 16 times a day? It's
The
huge."
work-life
So.
balance, you're right. The sleep that I'm not getting, you're right.
Yep. You don't sleep
Okay.
anyway. I see the emails that come through at 2 in the morning.
Thank
Let's see. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Brian, curious as to the attendees' most utilized marketing efforts for generating new business right now. They're using us, Brian. No, Joe just told you that. She just answered that question for you. Social media is where it's at, man. Um, I got another person here getting past the anxiety of creating videos for social media. Just being okay putting yourself out there and knowing that practice makes perfect. Um, maybe I'll get the courage. Maybe next month I'll go dig up one of my YouTube videos from way back in the day and show you just how awful I was at my videos when I started out. Boy, I sounded like a hick. It was a country bumpkin. Tori's off screen here. She just kind of laughs. She knows some of those older videos, but it just comes through practice and repetition and also having a formula. And I will tell you, scripting out your videos, not necessarily that you need to read a script, but scripting out your videos so that you know what you're going to say in the video. I've been making videos long enough to where I pretty much can just pull my phone out and just go on the fly. You guys have seen me like on my webinars where I'll just pull my phone up and make a video. Having like a structure, and if you kind of have to weave from that, that's okay. But like that will help you as well, knowing what it's going to be. The other thing too is like, excuse me, nailing the 3 second hook. Like that first 3 seconds of the video is super important, right? And if you're going to make a written post, the same rules apply. That like first line of the post, that has to get them right. Like I made one a couple weeks ago that really got a lot of traction, and I put the like red mad emoji, like the mad face emoji, and it said "I'm pissed." Right? I went down a couple lines, and then I started writing my post. Well, people are like, they're nosy, right? Like, oh, what's this one about, right? Click, opens it up, right? And so you guys have to do the same thing around there. Sharon says, I have anxiety doing videos. I get it. And listen, guys, it's like, it's not lost on me that the number one fear of people is public speaking, right? And the the idea that, just because it's on camera and not on stage doesn't make it that much less scary. And so I understand that's a big ask, but I also understand if you guys can trick your mind into understanding the time that you're buying back, right? Like making that post or making that video and 58 people see it. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 58 conversations that you just got to have. If it's a 3-minute video, that's 58 3-minute conversations that you got to have with one use of your 3 minutes in time, right? And so this is why, like for me, I've just become so strategic now with my content. One day per month, I sit down and do all my podcasting. The team then takes that and then that writes the blog post, that makes the short clips, that goes on to the long format YouTube video, that goes into the podcast audio only version. So I kind of have this hub and spoke method for me making content because I've just found that that's the most efficient way to do it. Now, you miss out on the the relevancy or hey, it's right now, right, of like pulling your phone out and talking about stuff. But I'll tell you guys, if you want to get traction with your videos, talk about friction, right? Things that are kind of polarized and that are current events, and you will get people's input. The other thing is that too is like asking for people's opinion. People love to share their opinion, and so if you can make content around that as well. And again, what do I mean by this? It doesn't have to be super crazy, but like I can tell you, like the local school system right now, they're like trying to increase like a nickel on the property taxes, right? And so like if I wanted to get traction locally, I would like go make a post and be like, would love to hear your all's feedback on, like I would use like the mad emoji and say, wow, a nickel tax increase, and then go down a couple lines and then say, I would love to hear your guys' input on this. And you'll get your local community just like blowing up in the comments. And again, I didn't say you had to share your opinion. I didn't say you guys had to take one side or the other on the fight. What are we trying to do here? Like, we have to remember the whole point of all of this shit. It doesn't matter. It's all about the attention. I'm just trying to get attention because if people don't know who I am, they can't spend their money with me, right? And so I'm just trying to get in front of the attention. It's kind of like you don't have to generate the attention. You just have to go find the flows of attention that are already there and then stand in front of them, right? And so that's what I did with my post about, Doge and Elon, because everybody's up in arms about it. Everyone has an opinion about it, right? That's the thing. Find something that everyone has an opinion about and poke that bear, poke that sacred cow. And you don't have to say one way or the other. It's just go poke it, right? And ask people what their thoughts are and watch the engagement that you get out of it. And at the end of the day, guys, like let's face it, we're not in high school anymore. Other people's opinion about you don't matter anymore. Somebody's going to think you're fat. Somebody's going to think you're skinny. Somebody's going to think you're pretty. Somebody's going to think you're ugly. That's just how life goes. And so having the business maturity, yeah, Jordan says 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Great call. Thanks. Yeah, I love it, man. You guys are going to have to understand that, like, you got to decide, do you want to put yourself out there, or are you okay with just, running how you've been running? So, love it. Cool. Top of the hour. Any final questions? This has been a good one, guys. I appreciate you all hanging in here with me. It's so much fun. I love doing these every month. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying them. It's a great value add too, right? Like we do a lot of social media and stuff for you guys, but this is my opportunity to be able to come in and be Coach Carroll, and so I honor you for hanging out with me for an hour today, and allow me to pour back into you guys. So cool. And again, my number's there in the chat. Write that down. Would love to hear from you guys. Shoot me a text. Love to hear your wins. Let me know. You guys have, just like Joe said, there a couple $100,000 from what we did, for her last year. Share the wins and use that word track. Hey, are you guys seeing us on social media? Because if you ask how'd you find us, most people are going to say Google. You got to use that word track of, have you seen us on social media to be able to track that. So with that being said, appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me today in the group coaching class. And until the next master class, We'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Hustle, it's worth it.